If you are desperate and you're not smart enough to be able to get spoiled by your man while at the same time maintaining healthy boundaries and healthy standards, then don't get upset when all you attract are manipulators, liars, cheaters, and weirdos. A man providing for you financially is the bare minimum requirement. He is not your God. A man is not your savior. He is not the source of anything and everything that you get to have in your life, okay? A man is your partner. He needs to provide for you financially, yes. That is the bare minimum requirement for him to even have the opportunity to even be considered to be with you, okay? It's a bare minimum requirement. Just like it's a bare minimum requirement that someone has a certain level of mental health, that has a certain level of communication or self-awareness. It's the same thing. Having a financial instinct to provide for you, that's just a bare minimum. Okay, from there, he still needs to be able to protect you, make you feel supported, make you feel safe. He still needs to have healthy communication. It doesn't mean that you can have a toxic relationship and be okay with it just because he pays for your bills. That is only the number one requirement before he can even be considered to be in your life. But from there, you still have to vet them. You still have to look at their actions. You still have to see how generous they are, how supportive they are, how protective they are. Do they provide for you emotionally? Do they provide for you mentally? Do they make you feel at ease? Do they make you feel like you can truly be in your feminine and be wild and have fun and feel pleasure and be able to surrender and nurture and give yourself to them and feeling appreciated for doing it and not abused and not taken advantage of? Because that's what that means, to be with a true masculine provider. It doesn't mean that, oh yeah, he pays my bills, great. The men that only have money to offer, that can't be healthy, that can't be in a loving relationship, all they can offer you is paying your bills or a monthly allowance or sending you money on Cash App every once in a while. If that's all they do for you, they're setting you up to accept the bare minimum, and chances are they're going to use that as justification to abuse you and to put you in situations where you constantly have to compromise on your self-worth. The types of men that think financial providing is the only type of providing that they need to do are the same types of men that expect you to give them everything, and they're going to drain you of your energy. And if they rely on the fact that they have money to get women, then chances are they're not that good of a match. Because if you have nothing else to offer but money, you're already setting me up to know that you probably don't have a good personality, you're probably not going to be loyal to me, and you're probably not going to be a good father to my children or a good life partner. So that's why you can't make decisions on who you're going to date just based off of who has more money or who's going to give you more money. You need to decide for yourself, okay, how wealthy do I need this man to be to provide the bare minimum lifestyle that I'm okay with? Then from there, you only consider these men. It's not that, okay, as soon as you find someone that has that, then you marry them or then you commit to them 100% without continuing to get to know them. No, that is your bare minimum requirement. And then from there, you still need to get to know these people and see if they're a good match for you overall. The key is to not be desperate, because if you're desperate for a relationship and you're desperate for a provider and you're desperate to be provided for, like, you're not going to attract the men that actually will be in a healthy relationship with you. You're only going to attract the men that are looking for willing victims to put up with their BS. Okay, because like I said, the types of men that can only offer you money, they can't offer you emotional stability, they can't offer you anything else besides financially providing for you, they're gonna put you through an emotional roller coaster. It is because they know that there's nothing else that they want to give you. Maybe they don't take that relationship that seriously, or maybe they have a lot of issues within themselves that they haven't worked through. And so the only way they know how to make people put up with that is through giving them money, or through flexing, or making them think that, okay, I'm wealthy, therefore I'm better than you. So you never want to date a man simply based off of his income. You want to only talk to men and consider men that have a certain level of income, or a certain level of ambition, or a certain level of financial stability, whatever it is that you require. Okay, you only talk to them, you only consider them, but that doesn't mean you're desperate to be with them just because they have the money. A lot of women love the kind of content that's like, oh yeah, get him to provide for you, get him to spoil you. It's the very generic thing you'll see on Instagram. Like, you'll see some girl that lives in Miami or LA or New York or Houston, and she has her Chanel bag, and she's shopping at the Gucci store, and she has all the designer brands and all the jewelry, and she's like, yeah, get him to spoil you, blah, 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 a guy that needs to provide for you, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's true. That is all true. But I think a lot of you are consuming that kind of content and thinking that that's the only thing that matters, and that that's going to solve all your problems. It's not. Because the reality of the situation is, a lot of the same women that promote these kinds of lifestyle where you're just a trophy wife, or you're just someone who is there and does nothing, and all they do is provide for you and send you on trips, and they don't actually have to do anything else for you in order to be with you, that is not a good, happy lifestyle. That is not a happy relationship. A lot of these women deep down are very disempowered and are very insecure. And a lot of these gifts that get given to them because the man is behaving in a certain type of way, and he's making up for that behavior. You know how like there'll be those couples where like the guy will cheat, and then he'll make up for it by buying her a bunch of flowers and a bunch of handbags or a bunch of jewelry, whatever. There's nothing wrong with getting gifts from a man, but when you're in a relationship that is purely based off of, okay, he has money, and so I'm only going to be with someone that has money, and that's all I'm looking for, he can pick up on that. And you're only going to attract those types of men that are like, okay, perfect. I just need someone who's going to put up with my stuff, who's going to put up with my negativity, who's going to put up with me not being loyal, or me being abusive, or me being kind of a weirdo. And all I have to do is give them financial things, give them money, give them bags, give them trips, and they'll forget everything else, because they only feel that they are worth money. They don't feel that they are worth actual respect, and so they're not going to get treated with respect, right? This is what a predator sees. When he sees a woman that is only interested in money and doesn't really have any sense of being able to judge someone's character, and is only looking at people for what they have financially, right? So it's okay to filter guys out based off how much they earn. I make a lot of content about this, and I tell you, like, yeah, you should never date a man that is not financially stable. Me personally, I tend to go higher net worth. Up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do what I do, or you can go with men that have more regular jobs, get paid less. That's fine. You decide what you want. If you even want to split bills with a guy, do whatever you want to do. Will that work out for you in the long run? I don't know, because I can only speak on the experience that I have, which is why I suggest you go with a man, and you choose a man that, if you could only live on his income, you would be okay. You would be satisfied. Then on top of that, you are going to start your own businesses. You are going to use his providing to make your life easier and create more abundance for yourself. So if you stay a couple, then great. That abundance that you've accumulated for yourself also gets fed back into him, and then he can make your life easier, and it's just a positive cycle, right? But at the same time, since you are using his providing to build up your own abundance, he can't get away with doing whatever he wants, because you are not someone who is financially dependent on him. You could leave at any moment and be able to provide for yourself, but of course, any man that you're going to be with needs to have the ability to provide for you. So in my relationship, when I started dating my boyfriend, he would start paying for little things, right? First, it started off as paying for dates. He didn't like buy me a house right away, okay? He didn't move me into his house right away. He didn't take over all my bills right away. This was a gradual thing that happened as we both got to know each other. And now at this point, like, I'm fully provided for. I don't have to concern myself with any finances of any kind, but I still have my own sources of income, and I still have my own investment portfolio and my own abundance that I'm building up. And he is very supportive of my businesses. So he feeds into me knowing that I have my own source of money. I have my own source of abundance. So he can't just say, okay, I provide for her, I can do whatever I want because she's dependent on me. No, he understands that because he's been helping me actually build that as well. So like I said, if we get married, then great. All of my investments will become his investments as well. But if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, I still get to keep everything he invested into me, and I'm able to go on my own and say, all right, even though it's sad this relationship didn't work out, I have used that relationship to also build myself up, and I wasn't 100% dependent on someone else for everything, right? So I'm still empowering myself and being able to get a better life after that and not have to worry about, oh my gosh, I know he did this to me, but if I break up with him, where am I gonna live? How am I gonna pay my bills? Oh no. And so it puts you in this state where you almost are like feeling like you have to forgive them for whatever they do, or you have to put up with whatever they do because you're in scarcity mindset, right? You have a fear that, okay, well, if they don't provide for me, where am I gonna go? If you place an importance on luxury goods or vacations or really expensive things that only your man can provide for you, then how are you going to feel when he does something? You're going to feel, oh shoot, well, if I break up with him, who's going to buy me Chanel bags? And I need to have the Chanel bags. I need to have the jewelry. I need to have this. I need to have that, right? So you need to develop a healthy sense of humility when it comes to material things. I love expensive things. I love money. I love abundance, right? But I will never compromise my self-worth or compromise my standards for that. That is completely irrelevant to me because I have belief in myself and I know, okay, I can provide for myself. I could get another job. I could go back to school. I could cash out on my investments. I could invest in this. I could invest in that. I could launch another product. I could create more content and earn more money, right? I have so many different sources of income, but I don't need the money. So when you're able to be in a relationship as a woman where you are provided for, but you're not dependent on it, and you still have a healthy relationship and you still have healthy boundaries, you become extremely powerful and extremely abundant because you are not in scarcity anymore, and you can operate from your creativity and work from your overflow. And you don't have to feel constantly drained, like you have to split bills 50-50 with a man, or like you have to provide for this or provide for that. You can relax into your feminine energy, feel safe and protected, but still know that you are powerful, and still know that, yeah, you can relax and lean on him for support. But if he decides to waver in the way that he behaves, if he decides to act up, if he decides to not be the partner that he's supposed to be, you can lean on yourself, right? You can stand on your own 2 feet. It's okay to lean on someone, and it's okay to have someone help you without necessarily needing them to help you, right? So as a woman, you have to break out of this belief that it's either, okay, 50-50 independent boss babe, or it's stay at home wife, stay at home mom, has no identity of her own, is fully provided for, and has to put up with man's behavior. Those are the 2 extremes. You can find somewhere in the middle that works for you. But if you are on either extreme, you are at a disadvantage. If you are on the independent babe, boss babe, don't need a man side, then you're missing out on the ability to truly surrender into your feminine and feel taken care of and still be able to accumulate your own wealth, which then would go back into the couple, right? If that's the way you set up your relationship. And if you're on the other side of just being that trophy wife, just being someone that is being spoiled and almost doesn't have a say in the relationship because they're fully dependent on them, like a parent, right? Imagine you growing up when your parents would say, well, I don't know if your parents said this to you, but my parents would say this to me. At least my mom would. She'd be like, oh, you know, I pay the bills, I make the rules, if you're gonna live under my roof, like blah, blah, blah. The justification for telling me what to do or making me do things I didn't want to do was because they're my parent and they provide everything for me, and so I have to do what they say. As I'm sure a lot of you know, that's not a fun situation to be in. So as an adult, you can't put yourself in that situation where you have someone who basically has more of a say over your life than you do. You never want to be in that situation. So even if he earns so much more money than you, you can still have that faith in yourself to say, okay, maybe I can't have this luxurious lifestyle if I'm single, but I can still provide for myself. I don't need him to live. I don't rely on him completely, right? And that is a beautiful place to be. Because like I said, when you're on this side of being a trophy wife and not having any say of your own, you're missing out on the ability to truly benefit off the fact that you have someone providing for you. And you're missing an opportunity to have a really fulfilling relationship where not only do you feel spoiled and taken care of, but you also feel extremely powerful because you're making your own money and you're doing your own things and you're able to go anywhere anytime you want, and you don't need to ask anyone for permission, right? You still want to discuss it with your partner because you want them to be happy and you want to feel happy in the relationship, but you don't actually need anyone's approval. Also, if you're sick of dating apps that constantly have you like swiping through people and not knowing who's actually compatible, then I suggest you download my brand new dating app. It's linked in the description. When you sign up, all you have to do is put in your information and put in what you're looking for, and it will automatically lay out all of your potential matches, and it'll tell you what percentage you're compatible. So you don't have to swipe, you don't have to guess if they're compatible. You already know because it tells you, and it's free to chat with everyone. Now you want to be intentional while you're dating, okay? I made a video, Goddess Dating Guide. I suggest you watch that because you can match with as many guys as you want and you can chat with as many guys as you want, but if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to set those boundaries, it's not going to work. You're going to be on all these dating apps, you're going to be looking for all these guys, going on all these dates, and it's just not going to give you what you're looking for. I love you. If you want to work with me, all the other links are in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.